Yeah, look at that. Smear. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing this smoky eye look, but the kicker here is I'm going to be putting this look together using a full face of products that I really wanted to like, and I kind of don't. So if you want to see how I got this look and what products that I used, what products that I've not been so totally a fan of over the years, you're in the right place. Keep watching. Alright, so I've already washed and moisturized my face. I'm going to begin with the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. It's not horrible, I just think that I have a lot better primers. Just kind of slick. Doesn't give you that tacky feeling that I kind of like in a primer. Doesn't really seem like it makes my foundation last that great. It's just overall not, I don't know, anything too exciting. I'm just not terribly pleased with it. It's not one that I would purchase again. On to foundation. This is the L'Oreal True Match. You can see this is a very light. It actually does pretty closely match my neck. This is probably one of the closest shade matches that I have to myself, which is one of the reasons why I keep going back to this foundation. And I keep trying to like this foundation. It's, again, it's a good shade match for me. It seems to have okay buildable coverage. It is SPF 17. It has a lot of good things going for it. Except I just don't like the way it sits on my skin. It seems like it creases throughout the day, especially around my nose, on my forehead. And I just don't really care for the way it sits on my skin. So I find myself wearing this, but I just can't really say that it's one of my favorite foundations, drugstore or otherwise. It just can't really say you should go out and buy this thing. All right, so that is my foundation on, and I'm going to get a little closer to the camera here, so hopefully you can see. Like it creases even after I just put this stuff on. You can see a lot of texture, and I don't really have a whole lot of texture on my cheeks. I mean, I do have lines, I do have under eye circles, but normally this isn't something that I have an issue with, and this one really emphasizes all of that. So just again, one that I just think that there are better options out there. So I tried the BH Cosmetics Studio Pro Total Coverage Concealer in shade 101. I have heard so many times that this is a really close comparison, almost a dupe of the Tarte Shape Tape, and it's not horrible. I think this is $6. And it does do a pretty good job, but I have to say, the applicator, one, this does not screw on, it just snaps on, so you know you're getting air in this thing. It does have like a little stick in the bottom of the lid but you've got this really weird, like, applicator. It just doesn't really apply well. You go to try to squeeze it out and you end up either getting not enough product or all of a sudden you get way too much product. The shade is pretty close to fair in the Tarte Shape Tape, and that is a very light shade for me, but this applicator is just weird. And oh yeah, see there, that's what this thing does. It doesn't come out, it doesn't come out, it doesn't come out, and now I have like gobs of this stuff. And it gets everywhere, and it just doesn't really blend out that great. I'm going to actually try to tap this out a little bit with my fingers. Kind of just move this around. I even have to like blot some of that off. Like it just is okay. And I can't even really complain about it for the price. But I also don't know, comparing apples to oranges and all, I don't know if I would purchase this product again or just buy the Shape Tape that I know is good. And that's even including the price difference between the two. And you can see it's not bad. I want to like this. It is cheap. It does give you pretty good coverage. It is bright. But there's just so much effort with this applicator. There's so much effort with the whole thing. I want to like this. And I kind of do not. Setting powder. Another thing. This stuff is very, very tacky. You definitely have to set it, which I almost always set my under eyes anyway. Another product that I really want to like, is the Fit Me Matte and Poreless Powder in shade 100 Translucent. I bought this as an under eye setting powder, and it does totally meh. I'm not really in love with the color. I'm not really in love with the coverage. I'm not really in love with the texture. I'm just not really in love with it. It just doesn't really matter what concealer I'm using this with. It just never really sets down well. It always still kind of leaves a tacky finish. It feels like you could just cake more on, and by the time you cake that much more on to get that, you end up with creasing and that cakey, too much makeup look. And that's, not really what we're going for here. This is a contour, which I really, really liked when I bought the Shape Matters palette, but then I bought the regular contour palette. It doesn't have the bright, shimmery highlighter that I really liked out of that palette in it. It's just the super matte shades. I find that this is really too dark to be a proper highlight for me. I am very pale, so it probably is just fine for most people, but I'm pale. The bronzer is, I like a little bit more illumination in a bronzer. It's okay, but it's not amazing. And the contour shade is a smidge on the dark side. And I don't find that this one lasts well throughout the day. Not to mention that this is $45. So I just think that there are better products out there for the price. I already own this one. I'm going to finish it off. I'm going to use it. It's not bad. It's not awful. It's just not amazing for the price, and I probably won't be buying it again. Right, another non-repeat while we're talking about contour and face. The Urban Decay Afterglow. And it's pretty. It is. One of the things though that really irks me, I don't know how much you can see this, but you can see how thick this packaging is. Now look how deep the pan actually is on this thing. So you get the illusion for this that you're getting all this product deep. This is mostly just cardboard. The shades are just meh. The product quantity is misrepresented by the packaging, I think. And these two in particular, I think are almost identical. This one's slightly more gold. This one's slightly more pale. So that's why this one's gotten used first. But honestly, I could really just sub this one. And I will use this up before I pitch it. I'm not just going to throw it out. But I won't be buying another one either. How about some cheeks? So I got excited. I usually really love NYX products. I haven't found too many of those, although I buy a lot of NYX products. So you're going to see a few of those here that I haven't liked. It's not because I don't like NYX products. It's actually because I really, really like their products, and therefore I buy a lot of them. I try a lot of them, and therefore I have a higher statistical likelihood of finding ones that I also don't like. So one of those on that list then is the Sweet Cheeks blush palette. I love the shades of this. Look how pretty that looks in the package. They have very little color. You have to really dig into these bad boys or you don't get much at all. And once you really do dig into them, you usually get enough to regret it. So they're not as easy to work with as I really would like. And they're kind of expensive, realistically. For this, like, this is a drugstore brand. I really like NYX, but I still consider it a drugstore brand. And this is a $20 palette. You can occasionally find it on sale. I think I paid $14 for this one when I got it, but it's full price. It's normal $20. It is definitely not a $20 blush palette. I am going to go into this dark shade here, just so you can see that I'm just going to tap it a few times like you normally would expect to do. Where's the color? Very little color. Now they are buildable. So if you like buildable colors, if you like blendable colors, if you like mixable colors, you can just keep layering these on and they do keep looking better, but I often don't have time to do all this. So these are one that I like, but I would not recommend. And for the record, I'm looking at this in real light and it looks really dark on the camera. So I know you're sitting here going, why do you need to build those more than that? Yeah, no. But in real life, in real lighting, there's just really not much color here. We're going to do eyebrows now. And I have several NYX products that I really do like for eyebrows. One of them that is not on that list, however, is the Tame and Frame. This is supposed to be a competitor to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Dip Pomade. And I'm a cheapskate, and I was hoping that this would be a good substitute. And it's not bad. This is about $8. That one is $18. So for the price difference, you can work with this one. But it's a little drier. It doesn't really hold the eyebrows in place. It doesn't have the same pigment payoff. You just have to work with it so much more. It doesn't stay as precise. It's not a bad product. It's just, I would rather pay the extra and get the one that I really am in love with, as personally to make do with one that I'm not that excited about. So, and you can see, like, it's really cakey. Like, this one I haven't used a ton, but you can see it just, like, it chips off, like, in chunks. Like, look at this. Like, it just falls apart. It's very, very dry. You have to, like, wipe chunks of this stuff off. It's gross. I have this hole in this eyebrow here, and I have to just paint that on. And when this just doesn't have enough pigment. So even when I'm going pretty heavy-handed on this, you can still see through pigment. It looks like I've caked on pigment. It doesn't look like an eyebrow. It doesn't look polished. It doesn't look well drawn even. It just looks like I smeared paint on a hole in my eyebrow, and that's not really what I'm going for. It doesn't hold a sharp line as well because you have to use so much more pressure. It's such a dry formula, it doesn't really glide on, so you have to use so much more pressure to get it on there that you end up making streaks, you end up making smear marks. But I can put just as much work into my brows and have them look so much better with other products. So if I'm going to expend the work, I want them to look good. I want them to be good when I'm done. I don't want them to be good enough when I'm done for the same amount of effort. Like, I can live with good enough if it's something that I can do really quickly in the morning and get the heck out the door. But hey, because that's life, and some days good enough just has to be good enough. But if I'm still sitting here fiddling with these brows and trying to groom them and smooth them and make them look nice, and then that kind of smeared over there and just, it's just not worth it. So the next product that I have, again, I do actually really like NYX, but this is the NYX High Definition Eyeshadow Base. I bought this to be more of a matte base when I want more of a smoky look, less glitz and glam. And I have a couple problems with this product. The first problem that I have with this product is this applicator. It is very, very long. It is a doe foot applicator, so it gets a whole lot of product on the end there. So you have to wipe it off, which means you're going to end up with all this smudge around the top. I'm not a big fan of that. But it's very, very liquidy. And it takes forever to set down, and it creases, and it just is not a very good eyeshadow primer. I don't even know what this would be good for. But I've used this only a handful of times because so I can smear this on here and streak that around, and that looks like absolute crap. So I'm going to use my finger and smear that out. Oh wait, it's just going to wipe it all completely off. And it doesn't set down. It's slidey and smeary, and it doesn't give you a good tacky finish really to put your eyeshadow on top of. It's just like it eventually will set down. Like it's starting to now, but you can see how much of that product is like coming off of my fingers doing that. I would use this in a pinch. Yeah, look at that. Smear. You can see how delicate I'm trying to be here too. It just isn't good. Definitely a miss for me. Now we're going to eyeshadow, and this is a palette that I intended to love, that I thought I loved, I wanted to love. I tried. I have used this thing so much. I've dug holes in it, but it just has never really grown on me. I've never been that excited about any of the looks that I have come up with. This is the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette. I think this has even been discontinued, so I don't think I'm the only person in the world who feels this way about this palette, but I got mine way back when it first came out. It was still new. The brush in it sucks, by the way. Like, it looks like it ought to be a good brush. It feels like it ought to be a good brush. But this brush just, so much fallout. It just flings the powder everywhere. It's a mess. If you want to make a nice, looks like somebody punched you in the face eye, use that brush with these eyeshadows. And they look like they'd be good shades. Normally, I really like these cool tones. I normally really like the smoky look in general. But these suffer from not good transition shades. All of these suffer from fallout really badly. I find that 13, which is supposed to be your matte highlight, just doesn't really have the pigment it ought to have. Now, part of that is because, again, I am very pale, but I have good whites in other palettes, so I know it's not just my skin shade. It is this particular color. But we're going to do the best that we can today. All right, I'm going to take my Lamora angled shader and throw some of Password into the crease. Now we're seeing a wonderful combination of bad meets bad. So this is a bad eyeshadow base. It gets too tacky when it finally sets down, and the shadow sticks. And you can't blend it. Look at that. That's a soft brush. Oh heck, let's get an even softer brush. Let's try to blend that out. It just smears out. It smears out. It doesn't blend out. So one of the things I want to point out while I'm doing this, if you feel like your looks are not turning out the way you want, it may not be you. It could be the product. It can be the primers, the prep. It could be the lack of prep. It can be brushes. It can be technique. But there's a lot more that goes into all of this than technique. A lot of the successes that you see are using proper brushes, proper products, proper primers, and working with them. So, if the things that you've tried in the past aren't working for you, try working on your technique. You can do that for free. If that doesn't work, it may not be you. Trying really hard with this for the record. I always do with this palette. It takes me forever to do my eyes with this palette. I just never get it where I want it to be. And we are going to take this clean blending brush, clean fluffy brush, and just brush away all that fallout that's under there, because these are, well, if there's anything that this palette does well, it's gonna fall out. We use 13 since I complained about it. 13 is the white in this palette, and it just doesn't do much. So now for eyeliner. This is the Tarte High Performance Naturals Double Take Eyeliner. You have a normal kohl eyeliner on the end for waterline, and you have more the marker tip for your winged liner on the other end. Really cool concept. I really want to like this. I really want to like this. For starters, the kohl eyeliner for the waterline is too hard, too sharp. I know it's meant to stay. Too bad it doesn't. It still bleeds off, and it doesn't go on well. You have to like jam it on there to get this to actually go on. Okay. To the point that you end up with too much. Yeah, there you go. There's a good example of what happens here. I'm just going to smudge that out with my finger because that just kind of went like everywhere. So that boxed my eyes right in. Cool. Now for the part where we ruin all of this. This marker. Normally I really, really like this style of eyeliner. I'm a huge fan of the Kat Von D tattoo liner. I have recently found the Physicians Formula version, forget what it is, 2-in-1 lash boosting, I think it is, eyeliner. Very similar applicator. Both of those are good about the fact that they have some give to them. This one does not. I was expecting this tip to be very similar to either of those, and it is not. I could liken this more to a Sharpie for one's eyes than I could to an eyeliner. If you look close, you can even see the texture is literally that fuzzy. It looks like the end of a Sharpie. It really does. That's not where the problem with this eyeliner ends. If you get this anywhere close to your actual eye, if you get this close enough to have a good line, it bleeds like crazy. Now, it is a really hard tip, and you can get a sharp point with it. I will give it that. But the formula is just not good. It just keeps bleeding. It smears and it doesn't stay put. It literally bleeds like if you put a magic marker on your eyes. Beyond the fact that I have raccoon liner, you can see that there is a very smudgy, blurry, bleedy line with a tip that is clearly meant to give you a sharp line. So you get a very bleedy, I don't know how much of that you can see, but that is not a sharp line at all. The Better Than Sex Too Faced waterproof mascara. This is the waterproof. They do make a non-waterproof. I have not yet tried it. I'm not a huge fan of waterproof mascaras, so let that be a biasing factor here. But I really want to like this mascara because everybody really loves this mascara. And I'm just going to tell you that I think it's clumpy and tears your eyelashes out and does not come off. It doesn't come off. So as a waterproof mascara goes, does its job, but I do not like this mascara. I keep wanting to like this mascara. It is a perfect example of this list of products. I want to like this mascara, but I don't. It gives you no volume, no length enhancement. As far as I can tell, it basically just makes my eyelashes black, which is fine. I have a lot of eyelashes, but still. The reason I have a lot of eyelashes is because I try to not tear them out with stupid stupid waterproof mascaras that I have to rub like crazy to get back off my eyelashes. So now for setting spray. I normally would have chosen the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. I'm not a fan of that stuff. I have never found that it does anything for me, but my mother actually seems to like it, so I gave her mine, so I can't use that one today. So instead today I'm using the NYX Dewy Finish long-lasting setting spray. I'm not a big fan of this one. I find that it emphasizes my texture. It doesn't really seem like it makes my makeup last any longer. I could just spritz my face with water and it would be basically the same thing. Now, next one. This is one that I was super excited about. I found this one online and I picked this one up the other day because they were having a sale on Makeup Revolution. This is the Retro Luxe Matte Lip Kit. It comes with a lip pencil and a liquid lipstick, and I got the color Treason. See what a nice, lovely purple lavender shade that is? This is straight up gray. This is not purple. There is no purple to this. There is no lavender in this. It is straight up gray. Now, I like gray, but I didn't buy it to be gray. I bought it to be lavender, and it is not. So I'm going to screw around a little bit with this and see if I can't get a little bit more purple look out of it by mixing in some of this NYX Liquid Suede in Sway. But overall, like, they're a good value for what they are, but I just don't really care for the formula as much. It's not really a very good texture overall. That I don't like about these. So really what this has going for it is the fact that you get both of these products for $9. I'm just going to dot a little bit in here. So those are my products that I am not terribly fond of. I'm going to take a stab at eyelashes and I'll be back in just a minute. All right, so this is the finished look. I finished up with the BH Cosmetics Studio Pro False Lashes in D302 is the style. This was a look composed primarily, if not entirely, of products that I would not have probably purchased again if I had the choice against it. I think it still came together okay. If you like some of these products, you know, I'm not trying to dissuade you from liking them. They're just ones that I've not really personally been fond of in the past and have not had as much success with as others. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that notification bell down below, and subscribe to my channel so that you can see all of my videos as I post them. I'm going to start trying to post every Friday at 10 a.m. We'll see how well that goes. But thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next.